What if everything you thought you knew about millionaires was wrong? Most people imagine the wealthy as high-profile CEOs, tech moguls, or celebrities living in sprawling mansions, driving luxury cars, and throwing extravagant parties. But the reality? The majority of millionaires don't live that way at all. They aren't splurging on designer brands or chasing flashy lifestyles. Instead, they're driving used cars, living in modest homes, and quietly building wealth out of sight and under the radar. They don't look rich, but they are. That's the surprising truth uncovered in The Millionaire Next Door, a groundbreaking study by Thomas J. Stanley and William D. Danko. Through years of research, the authors discovered that real millionaires, those who achieve financial independence, share a unique set of habits, choices, and mindsets that set them apart. And here's the best part. Their path to wealth isn't about luck, inheritance, or high incomes. It's about discipline, smart spending, and a long-term vision. So, who is this book for? Anyone who wants to break free from paycheck to paycheck living and start building lasting wealth. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a young professional, or someone simply looking for a smarter way to manage money, the insights in this book can change your financial future. In this summary, we'll dive into the key lessons from The Millionaire Next Door, breaking down how these everyday millionaires think, spend, and invest. You'll discover why frugality beats luxury, why high incomes don't always lead to wealth, and how you can apply these principles to your own life, no matter where you're starting from. Ready to rethink everything you thought you knew about money? Let's get started. Chapter 1. Money is Freedom. How I went from $2.26 to $1 million in 5 years. Grant Sabatier starts this journey not with spreadsheets or investment plans, but with a deeply personal moment, checking his bank account and seeing just $2.26 staring back at him. He's 24, jobless, broke, and living with his parents. That number isn't just a balance, it's a wake-up call. This moment becomes the spark for what will eventually become a 5-year sprint to financial independence and a net worth of over $1 million. This chapter isn't about flaunting a get-rich-quick scheme. It's about radical change, intentional focus, and seeing money not as the end goal, but as a path to freedom. Grant takes us back to his early 20s when he did what many do, followed the script, go to college, get a degree, hope for a stable job. But reality didn't line up. He graduated during the 2008 recession, job prospects were bleak, and he bounced between gigs, trying to stay afloat. What changed? A question. He Googled, "How do you make money fast?" That search didn't just lead to tips, it opened a door to a new mindset. He realized that making money wasn't about chasing titles or climbing the corporate ladder. It was about increasing the gap between what you earn and what you spend, and investing the difference. Grant introduces the FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early, but with his own twist. He wasn't interested in waiting 30 years to retire. He wanted freedom now. He defines financial freedom not as sipping cocktails on a beach at 65, but as waking up and choosing how to spend your day. To him, money equals time, and time equals freedom. So how did he do it? First, he increased his income aggressively. He didn't just get a better job. He learned digital marketing, built a freelance business on the side, and hustled hard. He was working 12 to 14 hours a day at times. He wasn't just earning more, he was diversifying. One of the keys to his success was mastering in-demand skills quickly, then monetizing them across clients, contracts, and side hustles. Second, he drastically cut his expenses. He lived with his parents for a while. He avoided buying new clothes or expensive meals. Every dollar had a job, and the job was buying him freedom. Third, and perhaps most importantly, he invested. Early, often, and smartly. He wasn't playing Wall Street games or trying to day trade. He invested in low-cost index funds, understanding the power of compound interest. Grant drives this point home. Investing is where the real magic happens. You don't have to hit home runs. You just have to get on base and stay in the game. Throughout the chapter, Grant mixes strategy with storytelling. We hear about the emotional toll, how isolating it can be to break from the crowd and chase something different. Friends didn't get it. People thought he was nuts for living so frugally. But his eyes were on the bigger picture, total freedom from the 9-to-5 grind. He also addresses a key misconception. Financial freedom isn't just for rich people. It's not about luck or a six-figure salary. It's about being intentional. He shares the story of a couple making under $70,000 a year who achieved financial independence by saving 50% of their income. The principles are universal. Increase income, reduce expenses, invest the difference. This chapter lays the foundation for the rest of the book. Grant isn't promising overnight success. He's showing a blueprint, one built on action, education, and persistence. He emphasizes that financial freedom is possible much sooner than most people think, and that the first step is deciding that you want it badly enough to change your habits. He introduces one of the most powerful tools in this journey, the savings rate. While most people think about money in terms of income, Grant flips the script. What matters most is how much you keep. He shares a chart showing that if you save 50% of your income, you can retire in about 17 years. At 75%, that drops to around 7 years. It's simple math, but it's also life-changing math. There's also an emotional element here. Grant talks about what money represented to him as a child. Security, stability, possibility. Growing up middle class, he saw the stress that money caused in his family. That memory became fuel. It wasn't just about having money, it was about never being trapped again. By the end of the chapter, we're not just reading a financial memoir, we're being invited to reimagine our relationship with money, to stop chasing more just for the sake of more, to start chasing meaning, freedom, and purpose. Grant's journey from $2.26 to $1 million isn't about bragging. It's about showing what's possible when you take control of your time, your money, and your mindset. And perhaps most inspiring, he doesn't claim to be special. He insists that if he could do it, anyone can. With focus, drive, and a willingness to think differently, financial freedom is within reach, sooner than you ever imagined. Chapter 2. Time is more valuable than money. Why you can and should retire early. Grant Sabatier opens this chapter with a simple yet radical idea. Time is the ultimate currency, not money, not possessions. Time, because while you can always earn more money, you can never earn more time. Once it's gone, it's gone. This mindset shift is at the heart of financial freedom, and Grant argues it should be the lens through which you view every dollar, decision, and day of your life. He kicks off with a provocative challenge to the American dream. We're sold this story. Work hard for 40-plus years, retire at 65, and then finally start enjoying life. But what if that entire narrative is backwards? Grant doesn't just question it, he demolishes it. Why wait until your healthiest, most vibrant years are behind you to start living freely? Why spend your best decades in traffic, meetings, and office politics? To him, early retirement isn't about never working again. It's about choosing how you spend your time, whether that means traveling, starting a nonprofit, making art, or just reading books all day. Freedom is about control, not permanent vacation. He shares how, after hitting his $1.25 million target, he retired at 30. But instead of lounging on a beach, he kept working on things he cared about. That's the essence of financial freedom. Work becomes optional, not mandatory, and that option changes everything. But how do you know if retiring early is even realistic for you? Grant introduces one of the most empowering ideas in personal finance, the concept of value per hour. Instead of measuring your life in years or even dollars, measure it in how much of your life you're trading away for money and whether that trade is worth it. If you make $70,000 a year and work 2,500 hours, including commute and prep, that's $28 per hour. But if you factor in your spending, say you save $10,000 a year, your true value per hour is more like $4. That's right, $4 for every hour of your life you're sacrificing. Now ask yourself, is it worth it? This calculation helps expose the hidden cost of good jobs and lifestyles we're taught to admire. A bigger house? It's not just the mortgage, it's years of your life. A luxury car? That's months, if not years, gone. Every unnecessary purchase is paid for in time. And if time is life, then overspending is literally wasting your life. Grant calls this the time-money trade-off. And he urges you to flip the question. Instead of, can I afford this? Ask, how much of my life is this costing me? That $200 dinner isn't just $200. It's 5, 10, or even 20 hours of your life, depending on your income and savings rate. Next, he tackles the biggest pushback to early retirement. But I love my job. That's great, he says. But what if you had to stop working? What if your health changed or your family needed you? Early financial independence isn't just about freedom. It's about resilience. It gives you options in a world where jobs, industries, and economies shift constantly. He also challenges the myth that people become lazy or purposeless without a job. In fact, studies show the opposite. When people have freedom, they often become more productive, creative, and fulfilled. He shares stories of folks who retired early and went on to write books, start businesses, or volunteer full-time. Work without pressure often leads to passion-driven results. But the chapter isn't all philosophy. Grant gets practical too. He introduces the FI formula. Your savings rate determines how quickly you can retire. It's not about how much you earn, it's about how much you keep. Saving 50% of your income can get you to retirement in about 17 years. Saving 75% can get you there in 7 to 8 years. He walks through real examples and uses simple math to show how even modest earners can retire decades earlier than expected. Grant also touches on lifestyle inflation, how, as people earn more, they spend more. It's a trap, and it keeps people locked into jobs they don't love for stuff they don't need. Escaping this trap is key to accelerating financial freedom. Then he introduces a powerful reframing exercise. What would you do if you had 2 years of freedom starting tomorrow? No job, no obligations, just time. Where would you go? Who would you become? This thought experiment helps clarify what really matters and why pursuing financial independence is worth the effort. Toward the end of the chapter, Grant explores mini retirements, taking chunks of time off throughout your life rather than saving it all for the end. He shares how taking a break doesn't mean you're falling behind. In fact, stepping back can help you rediscover your passions, rest deeply, and come back stronger. This idea isn't just theoretical, it's based on his own experience. After reaching FI, he traveled, took naps, read hundreds of books, and still built a business on his own terms. Finally, he closes with this: the goal is not to stop working. The goal is to stop working for money. When you no longer need a paycheck to survive, you can start making choices that align with your values, your purpose, and your dreams. That's real freedom. In the end, this chapter shifts your focus from money to time. It asks you to rethink your schedule, your job, your habits, and your future through the lens of life hours. Because the clock is always ticking. And the earlier you take control of your finances, the more life you get to live on your own terms. Chapter 3. What is your number? It's probably less than you think. In this chapter, Grant Sabatier asks the million-dollar question. Literally, what's your number? How much money do you actually need to be financially free for the rest of your life? Most people throw out big, round numbers, $5 million, $10 million, without really thinking about what that money is supposed to do. But Grant flips the script. It's not about being rich, it's about having enough. And odds are, enough is a lot less than you think. Grant kicks off with a powerful realization. People chase money their whole lives without knowing how much they truly need. They spend years climbing the corporate ladder, saving and spending, all without a clear target. But how can you hit a target you haven't defined? So he breaks it down with a simple framework. Your number equals your annual spending times 25. This is based on the 4% rule, a widely accepted financial planning rule derived from the Trinity study. The idea is that if you withdraw 4% of your portfolio each year, there's a high chance it'll last 30+ years, possibly forever. So if you spend $40,000 a year, you need $1 million to retire. Spend $60,000, you need $1.5 million. This calculation is a game changer. It gives you a concrete goal. No more vague dreams of someday. Now you have a real number to aim for. But here's the twist. You control the number. The lower your annual spending, the lower your number. And that means you can reach financial independence faster. Grant emphasizes this with real-life examples. One woman cut her spending by 30% and knocked 5 years off her FI timeline. Another family with 2 kids lives comfortably on $50,000 a year and is on track to retire in their early 40s. To figure out your number, Grant walks you through a 3-step process. Calculate your current annual spending. Most people underestimate how much they spend. Grant suggests tracking every expense for at least a month, or better yet, looking at the past 12 months of bank and credit card statements. Add up the essentials and the extras. No judgment, just awareness. Project your future spending. This includes where you'll live, healthcare, travel, hobbies, even kids or elder care. Be realistic, but also remember, early retirement doesn't mean living like a monk. It means being intentional. Will you spend more on travel, less on commuting? Will your mortgage be paid off? Multiply your projected annual spending by 25. That's your target. That's your number. For many people, it's between $750,000 and $1.5 million. Not pocket change, but totally achievable, especially if you increase your savings rate and income. Grant also dives into the importance of flexibility. Your number isn't set in stone. If the market crashes, adjust. If you move to a lower-cost area, adjust. If you fall in love with van life or move to Portugal, adjust. Flexibility is your greatest asset. He also introduces the idea of phases of FI, because you don't need to hit full financial independence before you can start living better. There's Lean FI. You have just enough to cover basic expenses. Coast FI. You've invested enough that, without adding more, it'll grow to full FI by retirement age. Barista FY. You can cover your lifestyle with part-time or passion work while your investments grow in the background. Fat FI. You're living large. You've got way more than you need. These stages help you see progress even before you make it. Maybe you don't want to wait until you're 40 to quit your job. Maybe at 35 you can switch to freelance work, or take summers off, or take a sabbatical. Knowing your number and where you are in relation to it gives you the power to make those moves. Then comes a reality check. Inflation. Prices rise. And if you're retiring for 30+ years, your number needs to account for that. But Grant reassures you that market returns typically outpace inflation over the long run. Still, he recommends adding a buffer. If you think you need $1 million, Aim for $1.2 million. Better to have too much than not enough. What if your number seems overwhelming? Grant gets it. $1 million feels huge. But he reminds you, you don't need it all at once. You build it step by step, and the faster you start, the faster compound growth kicks in. Every $100 you save today could be $1,000 plus in 20 years. The magic isn't in the dollars, it's in the momentum. He also shares a few mindset tips. Stop comparing. Your number is yours, not your coworkers, not your cousins. Forget Instagram lifestyles. They're often fake or funded by debt. Don't let fear stall you. Financial independence isn't all or nothing. You can build freedom gradually, and every bit of progress gives you more breathing room. Celebrate the milestones. First $100,000? Huge win. First year with a 50% savings rate? Massive. Enjoy the journey. Finally, Grant ties it all back to purpose. Your number is not about escaping work. It's about designing a life that aligns with your values. Maybe you want to travel more. Maybe you want to be home with your kids. Maybe you just want space. Your number is the key to unlocking that. The takeaway: financial freedom doesn't begin when you hit your number. It begins the moment you start building toward it with clarity and confidence. And once you know your number, the fog clears. The goal becomes real. And that's when the journey really begins. Chapter 4. Where are you now? Getting clarity on your finances. Before you can get to where you want to go financially, you have to know exactly where you are right now. That's the heart of this chapter. Grant Sabatier lays it out plainly. If you don't have a clear understanding of your current financial situation, every dollar you earn or spend is just noise. This chapter is all about getting brutally honest with your money, taking full inventory, removing the emotional fog, and laying the groundwork for intelligent decision-making. Grant begins by talking about how most people treat their money like a black box. They check their bank account balance occasionally, maybe glance at a credit card bill, but they don't really know how much they spend, how much they owe, or how fast they're progressing. He compares it to getting in your car and hitting the gas without knowing how much fuel you have, what direction you're heading, or how far you've gone. Step 1. Awareness. That's the superpower, and that starts with calculating your net worth, the foundation of your financial identity. Here's how you do it. Add up all your assets, anything that has financial value. This includes checking and savings accounts, retirement accounts like 401ks, IRAs, investment accounts, brokerage, crypto, etc. Real estate, your home, rental properties, vehicles, valuable collectibles, and even business equity. Subtract your liabilities, everything you owe: credit card debt, student loans, car loans, mortgages, personal loans. Assets minus liabilities equals your net worth. That's your starting point. Grant emphasizes that it's okay if your number is low or even negative. He started in the red too. What matters most is clarity, because clarity gives you control, and control creates momentum. Next up, your savings rate. If net worth is the big picture snapshot, your savings rate is the fuel behind your progress. It's the percentage of your after-tax income that you save and invest, not spend. The formula is simple. Savings rate equals amount saved divided by after-tax income times 100. So if you bring home $60,000 and save $15,000, your savings rate is 25%. Grant's goal for most readers? Push it as high as possible, ideally 50% or more, because the higher your savings rate, the sooner you reach financial freedom. But to boost that rate, you need to know where your money is going. That's where tracking expenses comes in. Grant encourages you to do a money audit. Track every single expense for at least a month. Use apps, spreadsheets, notebooks, whatever works. This isn't about judgment. It's about seeing the truth. He recommends breaking your spending into 3 categories: needs, rent, groceries, insurance, transportation; wants, dining out, streaming services, clothes, travel; freedom boosters, anything that helps you save more, earn more, or buy back time, like a course, a side hustle tool, or even a bike to cut your commute. Once you see where your money's going, you can make real choices. Grant calls this conscious spending. It's not about cutting out everything fun. It's about aligning your spending with your values. If you love coffee shop mornings, keep them. But maybe that $100 cable package or the 5th streaming subscription isn't adding real value. Then comes the credit check. Grant says to know your credit score and pull your credit reports from all 3 bureaus: Experian, Equifax, TransUnion. This helps you spot errors, fraud, or outdated information. Plus, good credit unlocks better rates on mortgages, credit cards, and insurance. It's a silent partner in your financial journey. Now that you have clarity on your assets, liabilities, spending, and credit, it's time to assess your income, but not just how much you earn. Ask, how stable is your income? Is there room for growth? Can you create other income streams? Grant reminds you that growing income is one of the fastest ways to accelerate your path to financial independence, but only if you don't let your spending rise with it. He also encourages you to look at your investment accounts and understand how much they're earning for you. Are your funds growing? Are you getting hit with high fees? Are you sitting on cash that could be working harder? A big takeaway here is to move from being a passenger to being the driver. Financial freedom isn't just about making money, it's about mastering it. Every dollar you earn is a worker. The question is, are your dollars working hard or are they being wasted? At this point in the chapter, Grant walks through creating your freedom account, a master spreadsheet or dashboard where you can monitor your full financial picture. Think of it like your mission control. You can update it monthly to track net worth, savings rate, investment growth, debt payoff, and income streams. This keeps you engaged and gives you real-time feedback. He also suggests creating visual progress tools, like charts or even just printing your net worth and sticking it on your fridge. Seeing progress creates motivation. Watching your net worth climb or your debt shrink is powerful. Toward the end of the chapter, Grant gets personal. He talks about how painful it was for him to realize how much money he'd wasted in his early 20s on stuff he didn't even remember buying. But he also says that once he got clarity, he was able to shift his habits almost overnight. Awareness was the spark that changed everything. He closes with this idea: you can't optimize what you don't measure, and most people never measure. They operate in financial fog, hoping things will work out. But hope is not a strategy. Knowing where you are is the first real step toward where you want to be. In short, this chapter is about facing the mirror, not with shame, but with purpose. Because once you know your starting point, you can chart the fastest, smartest, most powerful path to freedom. Chapter 5. Next Level Money. How to build wealth quickly. Now that you know your number and have clarity on where you stand, it's time to move fast. In this chapter, Grant Sabatier unveils the strategies and mindset shifts that allowed him to grow his net worth from just $2.26 to over $1 million in 5 years. The focus here is on acceleration, what he calls next level money. It's not just about saving more, it's about earning more, investing better, and turning money into a tool that works 24/7 on your behalf. Grant kicks off by explaining a crucial principle. Not all money is created equal. Money earned from your job is active income. You trade your time for dollars. But what you want is freedom money, cash that keeps flowing even when you're not working. That means side hustles, business income, and especially investment income. The sooner you shift your focus from just earning more to earning smarter, the faster you build wealth. He dives into the 3 levers of wealth: increase income, decrease expenses, invest the difference. While most personal finance advice over-focuses on cutting back, don't buy lattes, cancel subscriptions, Grant flips the script. There's only so much you can cut, but there's no cap on how much you can earn. He urges you to go beyond the budget and find ways to bring in more cash. Grant shares his own path. When he realized he was stuck financially, he Googled the highest-paying digital skills. He found digital marketing, took free courses online, practiced on his own projects, and in a few months, landed freelance gigs. Within a year, he was making 6 figures. The lesson? Learn high-value skills: web design, coding, SEO, paid advertising, copywriting, analytics. These are the kinds of skills companies pay top dollar for. And the best part, you don't need a degree, just proof of ability. Build a portfolio, show results, and keep leveling up. He also introduces the time-value trade-off spectrum, a framework to assess how much time you're spending to earn $1. A minimum wage job has a high time-to-cash ratio, while investing has a low time-to-cash ratio. Your goal should be to move across the spectrum, from active income to leveraged income to passive income. That means investing in assets, building scalable businesses, or creating products that can sell while you sleep. Then comes a powerful money mindset shift, thinking in terms of ROI, return on investment. Grant argues that every dollar you spend should be evaluated like a mini investment. Will it save you time, increase your skills, help you earn more down the line? He tells the story of how he spent $500 on a premium SEO course, which led directly to landing a client that paid him $1,500 per month. That's a 200% return in the first month. Investing in yourself, he says, often has the highest ROI. Grant also emphasizes aggressive saving and investing in your early years. Why? Because of compound interest. The earlier you invest, the harder your money works. He shares a striking example. If you invest $1,000 per month starting at age 25 and earn 7% annually, you'll have over $1.1 million by 55. If you wait until 35, you end up with half as much, just $567,000. That 10-year head start makes all the difference. Next, he introduces the freedom multiplier, a concept that helps you measure how fast your money is growing and how soon it can replace your income. For every $100,000 you invest, you can withdraw $4,000 a year, following the 4% rule. So if your annual expenses are $40,000, you need $1 million invested. But if you can create $20,000 in passive income through real estate or a business, then you only need $500,000 invested. Passive income lowers the number you need and speeds up your journey. Then he talks about automating your systems. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account to savings, retirement, and brokerage accounts. Take the emotion out of it. Money should move in the background while you focus on earning and learning. One of the most valuable parts of the chapter is about raising your financial ceiling, not just budgeting within your current income, but expanding your earning potential. Grant says this is the single most overlooked wealth-building tactic. Your skills, your network, your confidence, they all determine how much you can charge. So focus on increasing your value in the marketplace. He shares the story of a friend who started freelancing on Upwork, doing social media posts for $10 per hour. Over 2 years, she mastered Facebook ads, built a portfolio, and now charges $150 per hour, working just 20 hours a week. That's freedom. To close the chapter, Grant warns against just enough thinking. Many people settle for financial stability instead of pursuing freedom. But stability can vanish in a layoff or a crisis. Freedom is insurance, it's resilience, it's power. That's why he pushes you to go beyond slow, steady saving and tap into high-growth opportunities. Here's the final takeaway. Building wealth quickly isn't about luck or privilege. It's about leveraging the tools at your fingertips, developing valuable skills, increasing your income, minimizing wasteful spending, and investing aggressively. That's how you stack up dollars fast, not for status, but for freedom. And freedom, that's worth sprinting toward. Chapter 6. Is it worth it? 11 ways to think about money before you buy anything. In this chapter, Grant Sabatier teaches something that's rarely talked about in personal finance: how to spend money intentionally. Because here's the truth. Building wealth isn't just about saving more and earning more. It's about spending better. And that means asking one powerful question before every purchase: is it worth it? We live in a culture of impulse spending, Target runs, Amazon Prime, tap to pay. Ads are everywhere, constantly nudging us to buy now, think later. Grant argues that most people don't even remember what they spent money on last month, let alone whether it brought them any joy or long-term value. That's a problem, because every dollar you spend today is a dollar you can't invest for tomorrow. So he introduces 11 ways to rethink how you use your money, questions and mental models designed to break the cycle of mindless spending and bring clarity to every transaction. 1. How much of your life are you trading for this? Grant hits hard with this one. If time is your most valuable resource, then every dollar equals a portion of your life. If you earn $25 per hour after taxes, that $250 jacket costs 10 hours of your time. Is it worth it? This lens reframes money as life energy, not just digits on a screen. 2. Will this matter in a year? That shiny new gadget or home decor piece might feel exciting now, but will it hold value in 12 months? Grant shares how most impulse purchases fade quickly, while experiences, tools that create income, or health-related items often pay long-term dividends. 3. Does this bring me lasting joy? He talks about hedonic adaptation, the idea that we quickly get used to new things. That $50,000 car might feel amazing the first week, but quickly becomes your normal. Ask whether a purchase will continue to enrich your life after the initial high fades. 4. Can I get this cheaper or for free? Grant is all about optimization. He suggests checking for deals, discounts, second-hand options, or even borrowing from friends. He once saved $800 by buying a refurbished MacBook instead of a new one, with zero noticeable difference. 5. Will this help me earn more or save more in the future? He calls these freedom boosters. A course, a new laptop for your business, even gym shoes that help you stay energized. These expenses are investments in your growth. Spend freely here, but cut ruthlessly on things that don't give you a return. 6. Would I buy this if I had to pay cash? Credit cards create psychological distance from our money. Grant urges readers to imagine pulling physical bills from their wallet. That mental exercise alone can stop unnecessary purchases dead in their tracks. 7. What's the opportunity cost? This one's about trade-offs. Every dollar you spend is a dollar you can't invest. So that $5 coffee, if invested with 7% annual growth, it's really $10 in 10 years. He's not saying don't buy coffee, but be aware of the cost of every small decision. 8. Is this aligned with my values? Money is a reflection of what you value. If you care about sustainability but shop fast fashion, there's a disconnect. Grant encourages spending in ways that support your beliefs, whether that's buying local, supporting minority-owned businesses, or choosing quality over quantity. 9. Could I delay this purchase by 30 days? He introduces the 30-day rule. Write down what you want, Wait a month, and if you still want it, buy it. More often than not, the desire fades. This builds discipline and kills impulse buying without deprivation. 10. Would future me thank me for this? This is about delayed gratification. Will the version of you in 5 or 10 years be glad you made this purchase? Or will they be paying interest on a credit card or stuck with clutter? Make decisions that your future self would high-five you for. 11. Is this making me feel better or just numb? Grant digs into emotional spending. Are you buying out of boredom, stress, or to impress others? If so, the purchase won't fill the void. He encourages readers to pause, reflect, and ask what the real need is behind the transaction. These 11 questions aren't rules. They're filters. They help you slow down, think deeper, and spend in alignment with your goals. Grant isn't anti-spending. In fact, he talks openly about things he splurges on, like travel, education, and a mattress, because sleep matters. But every dollar he spends is a conscious choice, not a reaction. He also shares the concept of value density, how much life value you get per dollar. A $30 book that changes your perspective forever has far more value than a $300 jacket you wear once. Start looking at purchases through this lens. Then comes a powerful story. Early in his FI journey, Grant wanted to upgrade his car. He could afford it, but when he did the math, he realized the cost of the upgrade was nearly 3 months of extra work. So he kept his old Honda for another 2 years and invested the difference. That single choice helped shave months off his financial independence date. Grant also addresses spending guilt, especially among those pursuing FIRE. He reminds you that the goal isn't deprivation, it's freedom. And that means spending on what truly matters to you. If you love weekly movie nights or travel, budget for them. Just make sure you're not unconsciously trading your freedom for fleeting dopamine. To wrap up the chapter, Grant offers a final piece of advice. Before you buy something, imagine it already in your home or your life. Does it make your world better? Does it simplify, beautify, or energize you? Or does it create clutter, stress, or regret? That future vision can reveal the truth faster than any budget. The heart of this chapter is empowerment. By slowing down and asking deeper questions, you gain control not just over your money, but over your time, your values, and your future. And once you align your spending with your purpose, every dollar becomes a tool for building the life you actually want. Chapter 7. The only budget you'll ever need. How to live for free and increase your savings rate, at least 25%. Grant Sabatier opens this chapter with a bold claim. Traditional budgeting doesn't work, at least not for most people. Spreadsheets, line items, guilt trips, they're often unsustainable and overly complicated. Instead, he introduces a powerful alternative. Conscious spending plus high savings rate equals freedom. The goal isn't to track every dollar obsessively. It's to design your life so you save automatically, live intentionally, and don't feel deprived along the way. He starts by defining the most important metric in your financial journey, your savings rate. As mentioned in earlier chapters, your savings rate, how much you save from your take-home income, is the #1 factor in how fast you reach financial independence. It's not about how much you earn, it's about how much you keep. So how do you increase your savings rate by at least 25%, like Grant promises? Step 1. Rethink your fixed expenses. These are the big-ticket items that repeat every month. Rent or mortgage, transportation, food, subscriptions. Most people assume these are set in stone. Grant challenges that belief. He asks, what would it take to live for free? It sounds crazy, but he gives real-life examples. House hacking is one of the best. Buy a multifamily property, live in one unit, and rent out the others to cover your mortgage. Or rent out a room in your home or apartment on Airbnb. In cities with high rents, this alone can cover 50 to 100% of your housing cost. Grant did it. Many others in the FIRE community do it too. He also suggests creative living arrangements. Live with roommates longer. Rent a cheaper apartment in a nearby town and bike or train to work. Negotiate your rent. Move in with family for a year. Each move may seem like a sacrifice, but every dollar saved buys you more life later. Then there's transportation, another area ripe for cuts. Do you really need a car? Can you bike, use public transit, or ride share? If a car is non-negotiable, can you downgrade or buy used? Grant shares how he ditched his car and biked everywhere in Chicago, saving thousands a year. It wasn't glamorous, but it helped him hit his FI number faster. Next, food. Americans spend a shocking amount on eating out, delivery, and groceries. Grant recommends tracking your food expenses for 30 days. Most people are stunned. Then he lays out a simple challenge. Cut your food budget by 25% next month. Cook more, meal prep, brew your own coffee. You don't have to be perfect, just intentional. He introduces the concept of conscious spending, a system where you automatically cover your essentials, fund your future, and enjoy guilt-free spending. It works like this. Set up automatic transfers on payday, 20 to 60% to savings/investments. Fixed amounts to bills, rent, insurance, loans. A flexible fun money amount for guilt-free spending. Use separate accounts for each category. Checking for bills. Emergency fund for peace of mind. Investment/brokerage account for growth. Fun account for dining out, travel, hobbies. Let your habits run the system, not willpower. This setup helps eliminate decision fatigue and emotional overspending. When money automatically flows into the right buckets, budgeting becomes effortless. Grant then dives into subscription creep. $9.99 here, $14.99 there. Subscriptions silently eat your budget. He recommends doing a subscription purge every quarter. Cancel anything you haven't used in the past month. Resubscribe only if you miss it. Another area to cut? Big purchases and impulse buys. He suggests a 72-hour rule for anything over $100. Wait 3 days. Ask yourself if the item will improve your life or align with your goals. Most of the time, the desire fades. He also shares tips on earning free money. Use cashback credit cards responsibly and rewards programs. Take advantage of employer 401k matching. It's literally free money. Sign up for referral bonuses from banks or apps. Redeem credit card points for travel instead of cash. Grant believes that even small optimizations, like negotiating your phone or internet bill, can add up to thousands over a few years. He once saved $60 per month just by calling his cable provider and asking for a retention deal. But budgeting isn't just about cutting back, it's about spending better. He encourages you to define your rich life, a term borrowed from Ramit Sethi. What brings you joy? Travel, music festivals, fancy cheese? Great, budget for it. Cut ruthlessly on what doesn't matter to you so you can spend extravagantly on what does. Then he circles back to the goal, increasing your savings rate. He gives a roadmap. Saving 5 to 10% of income equals retire in 40 to 50 years. Saving 20 to 30% equals retire in 25 to 30 years. Saving 50% equals retire in approximately 15 years. Saving 70% plus equals retire in 5 to 10 years. It's simple math. The more you save, the faster you're free, and that freedom compounds every year. Finally, Grant addresses the emotional side. Budgeting often feels restrictive or shame-filled. He flips that narrative. Budgeting isn't about saying no, It's about saying yes to your future. Every dollar saved is a step toward a life on your terms. Every expense aligned with your values is a win. He ends with this truth. The best budget is one you don't have to think about, one that runs quietly in the background, empowering you to enjoy today while building for tomorrow. The takeaway? Ditch the complicated spreadsheets. Automate your system. Live for less, but live for you. That's the only budget you'll ever need. Chapter 8. Hack your 9-to-5. Use your full-time job as a launching pad to freedom. Most people see their 9-to-5 job as a trap, a place that drains their time, energy, and potential. But in this chapter, Grant Sabatier flips the narrative. He argues that your full-time job doesn't have to be the enemy of financial freedom. In fact, it can be your greatest asset if you know how to hack it strategically. This chapter is all about turning your day job into a powerful engine that fuels your escape from the rat race. Grant opens with a wake-up call. The average American spends 90,000 hours at work over a lifetime. That's a third of your waking life. So instead of letting your job happen to you, why not take control and make it work for you? He introduces the idea of job hacking, deliberately using your 9-to-5 to maximize income, minimize stress, and unlock time for skill building and side hustles. The first step, shift your mindset. Stop viewing your job as just a paycheck. Start seeing it as a platform, a tool that gives you stability, capital, and structure while you build your escape plan. Step 1 of the hack, negotiate your salary. Most people never negotiate, but Grant says a 5-minute conversation can boost your income for years. He shares how a friend negotiated a $10,000 raise just by showing market research and her achievements. That extra cash, if invested, could grow into hundreds of thousands over decades. And here's the trick. Don't wait for annual reviews. Ask strategically based on performance, data, and timing. Next, maximize your benefits. Your company might offer 401k matching, HSA accounts, transit reimbursements, wellness stipends, tuition reimbursement, free software or training. These perks are often overlooked, but they're part of your total compensation. Don't leave free money on the table. Then comes the time hack. Optimize your schedule. Can you work from home a few days a week? Shift to a 4-day work week. Use vacation time to explore side hustles or build skills. Grant tells the story of a developer who negotiated a remote position, moved to a cheaper city, and used the time saved on commuting to launch a 6-figure freelance business. The point: leverage flexibility to buy back your time. Grant also dives into increasing your value at work. The more you know, the more you're worth. Take on high-impact projects, solve expensive problems, become known for delivering results. And most importantly, learn skills that are portable. Skills like sales, digital marketing, coding, or data analysis are valuable across industries and can be monetized outside your job. He shares a personal story. When he was working a full-time digital marketing job, he didn't coast. He used it as a training ground, reading, testing, learning. Everything he did during the day helped him land freelance gigs at night. His job paid him to build a business. Another strategy, moonlight with permission or discretion. Many companies allow side gigs as long as there's no conflict of interest. If yours doesn't, get creative. Offer consulting, start an anonymous blog, sell products online. Grant emphasizes keeping everything above board, but also reminds you that you own your free time. Use it wisely. Then he tackles the ultimate hack, job hopping. This might sound risky, but Grant shares the data. The fastest way to increase your income is to change jobs every 2 to 3 years. Loyalty doesn't usually pay financially. A new job can bring a 10 to 20% salary bump, sometimes more. And in a world where pensions are rare and layoffs common, Your career security comes from adaptability, not tenure. He also talks about sabbaticals and mini retirements. Once you've saved up enough, you might not need to quit forever. You can take breaks. Grant describes how some readers take 6 to 12 months off to travel, write, or explore new paths, then return with renewed energy. The key is having a strong financial base and a plan. Throughout the chapter, Grant weaves in mindset tips to help you avoid burnout. He reminds readers not to define themselves by their job title. A job is something you do. It's not who you are. If you hate your job, use that discomfort as fuel. If you like it, great. Use it to build wealth faster. One of the most empowering parts of the chapter is when he reframes the idea of quitting. You don't need to quit today. You just need to build the option to quit. That's real freedom. That's power. And your 9 to 5 can be the launch pad that gets you there. He closes with this powerful truth. You don't have to love your job. You just have to love what it makes possible. If your job funds your investments, pays down debt, builds your side hustle, and creates optionality, then it's serving its purpose. And when it no longer does, you'll have the freedom to walk away on your terms. The final takeaway: your job is not your jail. It's your jet fuel. Use it wisely. Earn more, learn more, save more. Build freedom from the inside out, one workday at a time. Chapter 9. More Money in Less Time. How to Start a Profitable Side Hustle. In this chapter, Grant Sabatier breaks down one of the fastest, most effective tools for accelerating financial freedom, the side hustle. Whether you want to pay off debt, invest more, or just escape the 9 to 5 sooner, a side hustle can inject fuel into your financial journey without demanding a total career overhaul. Grant starts with a truth bomb. If you're relying only on your day job to get rich, you're playing the slowest game and the riskiest. One layoff, one bad economy, and it could all disappear. But if you have multiple income streams, that's freedom insurance. And the best part? You can start small. Even a few $100s a month can compound into tens of thousands over time when invested. He then shares his own story. At one point, he was working full-time and juggling multiple side hustles, building websites, managing Google Ads for local businesses, flipping domain names. He wasn't doing it for fun. He was doing it for freedom. Every extra dollar he earned shortened his timeline to financial independence. That's the mindset. The first key: know your why. Why are you starting a side hustle? Is it to pay off student loans, save for a home, hit your FI number 10 years earlier? Knowing your reason will keep you motivated when things get tough. Next comes the fun part: choosing the right hustle. Grant outlines 3 core criteria. High demand. Are people already paying for this service or product? Low startup cost. Can you begin with minimal investment? Scalable or repeatable. Can you grow it without burning out? He divides side hustles into 4 broad categories. 1. Skill-based hustles. Leverage what you already know. If you're good at writing, editing, design, coding, digital marketing, photography, or tutoring, someone will pay for it. Freelancing platforms like Upwork and Fiverr can help you get started, but Grant recommends building a personal brand and pitching directly to clients to keep more of the profits. 2. Buy and sell, flipping. This is the art of arbitrage. Buy low, sell high. Think vintage clothes, used electronics, furniture, or domain names. Grant himself once flipped a domain for $5,000 after buying it for just $10. Garage sales, thrift shops, and Craigslist can be treasure troves. 3. Service-based hustles. These require time, but not much skill or money to start. Dog walking, babysitting, house cleaning, furniture assembly, lawn care. These are easy to launch in any neighborhood. Grant encourages looking around your community and asking, What's a pain point I can solve? 4. Digital and passive hustles. These take time to build but can generate money long after the work is done. Think YouTube channels, ebooks, online courses, affiliate marketing, or drop shipping. They're not truly passive, but they offer income potential without trading time directly for money. Grant then lays out a 10-step blueprint to launch your side hustle quickly. Pick one idea you're excited about and that meets demand. Validate it fast. Ask real people if they'd pay for it. Set a simple goal, like earning $500 in 30 days. Create a basic offer or landing page. Don't overthink branding. Tell your network, friends, family, co-workers. Your first customers often come from people you already know. Deliver massive value. Go above and beyond to build word of mouth. Ask for referrals after every job or sale. Increase prices once demand grows. Reinvest profits into better tools, marketing, or time-saving systems. Automate or outsource as soon as possible to free up your time. He also shares key mindset tips. A side hustle isn't just about money, it's about learning. You develop confidence, negotiation skills, resilience, and creativity. Even if one hustle flops, the skills you gain are assets you carry forward. 1 critical warning: don't overwork yourself. Many people burn out by stacking hustle on top of a full-time job with no boundaries. Grant recommends setting time limits, like 10 hours per week, and focusing only on high-return tasks. Hustle hard, but hustle smart. He also talks about systems. If your hustle relies on you doing everything forever, it'll cap your growth. Instead, build systems that allow you to scale. Can you create templates? Hire a virtual assistant. Automate customer emails. Treat your side hustle like a business, not just a hobby. Next, he introduces the concept of stacking hustles. Once you master one, you can layer on others. Grant calls it the freedom stack. Each new income stream reduces your dependency on your job and brings you closer to total autonomy. To inspire, he shares real stories. A school teacher who started a weekend baking business and now earns $3,000 per month from custom cakes. A mechanic who fixes lawnmowers on the side and makes more in summer than at his full-time job. A single mom who started a Pinterest consulting hustle and replaced her 9-to-5 income in under a year. One of the most powerful sections in the chapter is when Grant reframes failure. Every failed hustle is just data. You test, tweak, and try again. The worst-case scenario, you learn. The best case, you build a 6-figure income stream. The risk is low. The upside is massive. Finally, he closes with this: you don't need permission to make more money. The internet has removed all the barriers. You can start with what you have, where you are. No gatekeepers, no waiting. Your side hustle is a declaration of independence. Every dollar earned outside your job is a brick in the wall of your freedom. The takeaway? Don't wait until you've got everything figured out. Just start. Progress beats perfection. And that small side hustle? It could be the beginning of the life you've always dreamed of. Chapter 10. The 7-Step Fast-Track Investment Strategy. Accelerate your money-making money. If there's one superpower in the journey to financial freedom, it's this: making your money work for you. In this chapter, Grant Sabatier reveals his 7-step investment strategy to fast-track your path to early retirement, even if you're starting from scratch. Investing isn't just for Wall Street suits or financial nerds. It's for anyone who wants to build wealth and escape the 9-to-5 grind as fast as possible. He kicks things off with a simple truth: you don't have to be an expert to invest successfully. In fact, most experts underperform the market. The key? Keep it simple, consistent, and automatic. Let's dive into Grant's 7 steps, designed to maximize growth while minimizing fees, stress, and mistakes. Step 1. Understand compound interest. Grant calls this the most powerful force in finance, and possibly the universe. He uses a vivid example. If you invest $10,000 today and it grows at 7% annually, in 30 years it becomes over $76,000. If you add $500 per month, you'll have over $610,000. The earlier you start, the less you need to contribute. Time is your best friend. Compound interest turns small, consistent actions into life-changing wealth. Step 2. Focus on your savings rate. First, before worrying about which funds to pick or which stocks to buy, increase your savings rate. The more you save, the more you can invest, and the faster you reach financial independence. Grant emphasized his favorites: Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund, VTSAX, Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, VOO, Fidelity Zero Total Market Index Fund, Y Index Funds. They outperform most actively managed funds over the long run, charge tiny fees, and require no guesswork. You buy, hold, and let time do the heavy lifting. Step 6. Automate everything. Grant says this is the secret weapon. Set up automatic transfers so money leaves your checking account the day you get paid and lands in your investment accounts. This removes emotion, timing, and decision fatigue from the equation. You don't have to feel motivated to invest. It just happens, month after month, year after year. That's how millionaires are built. He uses the example of a woman who automated $200 per month into her Roth IRA starting at age 24. By 44, she had nearly $100,000 and never missed the money. Why? Because she never saw it in the first place. Step 7. Stay the course, even when the market crashes. Here's the hard part: sticking with the plan when everything feels like it's falling apart. Grant talks about the 2008 crash, the 2020 COVID dip, and countless other corrections. Markets go down, but they always come back. The worst thing you can do is panic sell. The best thing, keep investing through the downturns. He introduces the mantra, time in the market greater than timing the market. Trying to guess the right moment to buy or sell almost always leads to worse results. Instead, invest consistently, no matter what the headlines say. After breaking down the 7 steps, Grant answers some common investing fears. What if I lose money? You only lose if you sell during a dip. Isn't investing risky? Not investing is riskier. Inflation, layoffs, and life happen. A solid investment plan is your best defense. What if I don't understand this stuff? You don't need a finance degree, just follow the formula. Save more, invest in low-fee index funds, and stay consistent. He also drops a few bonus tips. Reinvest your dividends for faster compounding. Use a robo-advisor like Betterment or Wealthfront if you want automated hands-off investing. Check your portfolio once a quarter, not every day. Your brain will thank you. Grant closes the chapter with this powerful thought. You're not just investing money, you're investing in freedom. Every dollar you put to work is buying you back time. Time with family, time to travel, time to create, time to just be. That's the goal. So don't wait for the perfect time to start investing. That time is now. Start with what you have. Start where you are, but start, because your future isn't something you stumble into. It's something you build, one smart dollar at a time. Chapter 11. Real Estate Investing. How to turn $10,000 into millions using other people's money. In this chapter, Grant Sabatier shifts gears and dives deep into the wealth-building potential of real estate investing, but not in the late-night infomercial, over-leveraged, get-rich-quick kind of way. He's talking about smart, sustainable real estate plays that can accelerate your financial freedom using one of the most powerful tools in the wealth game, leverage. He starts with a compelling fact. 90% of millionaires own real estate. Why? Because real estate lets you grow wealth in 4 ways simultaneously. Appreciation. The property value rises over time. Cash flow. Rental income exceeds your expenses. Loan paydown. Tenants pay off your mortgage for you. Tax benefits, deductions, depreciation, and more. Unlike stocks, which rely mostly on market growth, real estate can earn you money every single month and increase in value over time. That's why it's so attractive to early retirees. But Grant is quick to point out that real estate isn't passive from day one. It takes work, especially up front. The good news? That work can lead to massive long-term returns. He opens with a real-life story. His friend bought a duplex for $180,000, put $20,000 down, and rented out one side while living in the other, a classic house hack. Within 3 years, the rent covered the mortgage. He moved out, and now the property nets him $800 per month in cash flow. That's almost $10,000 per year forever for a one-time investment. That's leverage in action. So how do you get started? Step 1. Know your strategy. Grant outlines 4 main approaches: buy and hold rentals, steady monthly income, and appreciation over time. House hacking. Live in one unit, rent the others. Short-term rentals, Airbnb, higher income, more management. BRRRR method. Buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. Aggressive scaling with equity recycling. Your path depends on your time, risk tolerance, and goals. For most beginners, house hacking is the fastest on-ramp to wealth with low risk and high upside. Step 2. Understand financing. Here's where things get interesting. You don't need to be rich to buy real estate. In fact, real estate is one of the few wealth-building tools where you can use other people's money, banks, lenders, to build your empire. For example, an FHA loan allows first-time buyers to put as little as 3.5% down. On a $200,000 property, that's just $7,000. Add a few grand for closing costs, and you're in the game for under $10,000. That's how many FIRE community members start, with one deal. Grant encourages you to get pre-approved, compare lenders, and know your credit score. A better score equals better loan terms, equals more savings over time. Step 3. Run the numbers like a pro. Before buying any property, you need to know if it cash flows. Grant introduces the 1% rule. The monthly rent should be at least 1% of the purchase price. So a $150,000 property should rent for at least $1,500 per month. This quick filter weeds out bad deals. He also shows how to calculate cash flow, monthly rent, mortgage, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, vacancy allowance, property management, if applicable, equals net cash flow. If the number is positive, great. If it's not, walk away. Never buy hoping the property will turn around. Numbers don't lie. Step 4. Build a team. You don't need to do everything yourself. In fact, Grant suggests surrounding yourself with a team early on. Realtor, investor friendly. Mortgage, broker, or lender. Home inspector. Real estate attorney, depending on state. Contractor or handyman. Property manager, optional but helpful if scaling. A good team can help you find deals, avoid mistakes, and save thousands. Step 5. Be ruthlessly patient with your first deal. Grant stresses that your first property doesn't have to be perfect, but it does need to be profitable. Take your time. Run the numbers on dozens of properties, walk through homes, ask dumb questions, make low offers. The real estate game rewards those who don't rush. Step 6. Protect your downside. Real estate has risk, just like any investment. So Grant shares key protection strategies. Always have an emergency fund for repairs and vacancies. Get landlord insurance. Use an LLC for liability protection. Consult a pro first. Vet tenants carefully. Bad renters can destroy your peace of mind. Don't over-leverage. Borrowing too much can lead to disaster in downturns. Step 7. Scale slowly and smartly. Once you've got your first cash-flowing property, you can repeat the process. Reinvest profits. Refinance to pull out equity. Look for small multi-units. Gradually build a portfolio that pays you even when you sleep. That's the path to real estate-driven financial independence. One of Grant's biggest lessons: don't fall in love with the property, fall in love with the math. It doesn't matter how cute the kitchen is if the numbers don't work. Always lead with logic, not emotion. He also addresses some common myths. Isn't being a landlord a nightmare? Not if you screen tenants, set boundaries, and outsource property management. What if the market crashes? Real estate values fluctuate, but if your property cash flows, you can ride it out. Isn't this too risky? With the right due diligence and a buffer fund, real estate is often less volatile than stocks. Finally, Grant paints a picture of what's possible. Imagine owning 5 properties, each cash flowing $1,000 per month. That's $60,000 per year in passive income, enough to cover most people's expenses and never work again. And the kicker? You used the bank's money to build it. The takeaway? Real estate can be your fastest, most tangible path to financial freedom. Start small, stay smart, and let the power of leverage work for you. Because when your assets start paying your bills, you stop working for money, and money starts working for you. Chapter 12. More Than Enough. How to live off your investments for the rest of your life. In this chapter, Grant Sabatier shifts the focus from building wealth to living on it. You've hustled, you've saved, you've invested. Now what? How do you know when you're financially independent? And how do you actually live off your money without fear of running out? Grant begins by unpacking a truth that surprises many on the FIRE journey. You'll probably reach enough sooner than you think, but you might not realize it right away. That's because we've been conditioned to believe that more is always better. More savings, more investments, more security. But when is enough actually enough? He returns to the 4% rule, a cornerstone of FIRE math. It says you can safely withdraw 4% of your total investments every year, adjusted for inflation, and have a high likelihood that your money will last 30+ years. If you have $1 million invested, that's $40,000 per year. If you spend less, you need less. Simple. But what happens if the market tanks right after you retire? Grant introduces the sequence of returns risk, the danger of a major market drop early in your retirement. He recommends a few smart strategies to protect against this. Build a cash cushion. Have 6 to 24 months of living expenses in cash, so you don't have to sell investments when the market is down. Keep spending flexible. Spend less during market dips and enjoy more during boom years. Use a bucket strategy. Divide your money into buckets. Cash, 0 to 2 years of expenses. Bonds or safer investments, 3 to 5 years. Stocks, long-term growth. This approach lets you ride out market storms without panicking. Next, Grant tackles the emotional shift of going from saving to spending. It's harder than it sounds. You've spent years stacking dollars, watching net worth rise, tracking every investment. Suddenly flipping that switch and withdrawing from your portfolio can feel like sabotage. He reminds readers, that's what the money is for. You didn't save it to hoard it. You saved it for freedom. Time with family, travel, peace of mind, creative work. Spending intentionally is part of the journey, not the end of it. Grant also introduces the concept of dynamic withdrawals. Instead of blindly taking 4% each year, adjust based on market performance, personal needs, and life changes. Some years you might take 3%, others 5%. The point is flexibility, not rigid rules. He then dives into part-time work or passion income in retirement. Many FIRE folks find they don't want to stop working altogether. They just want to stop working for survival. Whether it's writing, consulting, coaching, or selling art, these light income streams can extend your portfolio's life by decades. Even earning $10,000 per year from passion projects can dramatically reduce how much you need to withdraw. Next, Grant covers healthcare, a major fear for many early retirees in the U.S. He outlines options. Use ACA, Affordable Care Act, subsidies by keeping your income low. Health sharing ministries, less traditional but lower cost. COBRA, temporary coverage from your old job. Build a robust health savings account, HSA, if you have access to one. He emphasizes planning for healthcare early and treating it as a line item in your FI number. Then comes tax strategy. Just because you're not working doesn't mean you don't have taxable income. Grant suggests withdrawing from Roth IRAs tax-free, using tax gain harvesting in taxable accounts. Converting traditional IRAs to Roth during low-income years to reduce future tax bills. Smart withdrawal sequencing can save you tens of thousands over your retirement years. Another key point, keep investing even in retirement. Many people think retirement means pulling out all your money and sitting on it. But Grant argues you should keep a large portion invested for long-term growth, especially if you retire early and might live 40+ more years. He also introduces the concept of fat FIRE, saving more than you need so you can spend freely without worry. If lean FIRE is retiring on $30,000 per year, fat FIRE is retiring on $100,000 per year and still having cushion. Not necessary for everyone, but appealing if you value flexibility and luxury. Grant shares personal stories of people who retired early and now live intentionally all over the world. Some on sailboats, some in tiny homes, some in low-cost countries where $25,000 per year buys a great lifestyle. The point? Financial independence doesn't mean one path. It means options. One of the most powerful parts of the chapter is Grant's discussion of the enough point. You'll reach a point, maybe earlier than expected, when you realize you're secure. You don't need to hustle anymore. The bills are covered. The future is funded. At that point, the goal isn't more money, it's more life. That might mean volunteering, writing a novel, helping your community, or just enjoying mornings with no alarm clock. He challenges readers to define what enough looks like for them, not just financially, but emotionally, spiritually, and socially, because chasing more forever is a game you can't win. The chapter closes with this reminder: money is a tool, financial independence is a milestone, but freedom, real, daily, joyful freedom, that's the goal. The final takeaway: you don't have to wait until you're old to live like you're rich. You just have to reach the point where your investments pay for your lifestyle, and then choose to live fully. Because when your money says you're good, the only question left is, what kind of life do you really want to live? Chapter 13. The Future Optimization Framework. Daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annual habits. After achieving financial independence, many people expect happiness to just arrive, but freedom doesn't magically organize your life. In this chapter, Grant Sabatier offers a practical and intentional system to help you not just have freedom, but live it well. He calls it the Future Optimization Framework, a set of habits and rhythms designed to align your time, money, and energy with your long-term vision. Grant opens with a common trap. Once people reach a level of financial comfort, they often feel lost. They go from busy and stressed to open and uncertain. That's why he argues that without structure, freedom can feel overwhelming. The solution isn't to go back to rigid schedules, it's to create systems that serve you. The future optimization framework is broken into 5 layers of intentional planning, each one nested within the other. Daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annual. These aren't meant to control your life, they're meant to focus it. Daily habits. Win the morning, own the day. Grant believes mornings are sacred. If you own your first hour, you shape your mindset, energy, and trajectory for the day. His recommended routine includes silence or meditation, 10 to 20 minutes. Journaling, especially gratitude and intention setting, light movement, yoga, stretching, walking, reading something nourishing, finance, philosophy, or mindset. You don't need 2 hours. Even 20 focused minutes can ground your day. He emphasizes avoiding your phone first thing. Don't let the world hijack your brain before you set your course. He also encourages reviewing your top 3 priorities for the day, not a to-do list. Just 3 things that, if completed, make the day a win. They should connect to your broader goals, not just errands or emails. Weekly habits, review, reflect, reset. Each week, Grant blocks out 60 to 90 minutes on Sundays to run his weekly optimization review. He lights a candle, brews tea, and makes it a ritual. Here's his simple format. What did I accomplish this week? What drained me? What energized me? Did I spend my time and money intentionally? What needs attention next week? What am I avoiding? What's one way to challenge myself this week? He pairs this with a quick financial check-in. Review bank accounts, credit card activity, and investments. Transfer extra cash into savings or brokerage. Track spending and savings rate. Grant emphasizes that this habit, more than any spreadsheet, has kept him focused, grateful, and on track. Monthly habits, money plus life alignment. At the end of each month, Grant runs a deeper review to connect his financial trajectory with his life satisfaction. He asks, did I save and invest what I planned? Did my spending reflect my values? What did I enjoy spending money on? Where did I waste money or time? What am I working toward next month? He uses this review to adjust course, not beat himself up. He believes personal finance should be flexible. Life changes, so should your systems. This is also the time to assess subscriptions, recurring expenses, and leaks. Grant encourages canceling anything that's no longer adding value. Quarterly habits. Reset your goals. Every 3 months, Grant does a full goal alignment session. He steps back and asks, are my financial goals still meaningful? Are my life goals aligned with how I'm spending my time? What can I stop doing to create space for what matters? What new experiment or skill do I want to explore? He recommends choosing one major focus area per quarter, whether it's writing, health, travel, or business. Quarterly focus allows for deep progress without burnout. He also reviews his net worth, investment allocation, and passive income growth. This isn't just data, it's fuel. Seeing tangible growth reminds you why you do this. Annual habits. Design your year. At the end of each year, Grant does his favorite ritual, the annual life planning retreat. It's not a vacation, it's a private reflection session, sometimes solo, sometimes with his partner. He books an Airbnb, disconnects from tech, and does a 2-day reset. Key areas he reviews: finances, total income, spending, savings rate, net worth growth, health, physical, mental, emotional well-being, relationships, who uplifted me, who drained me, time, where did my hours go, joy, what brought deep satisfaction, vision, what does an extraordinary year ahead look like? He sets 3 to 5 annual goals, not resolutions, commitments. Each goal is tied to measurable steps and timeframes. And they're not just financial. Often they're about adventure, creation, or contribution. He recommends documenting it all and checking in quarterly. Your year isn't just something that happens, it's something you design. Why this framework matters. This chapter isn't about productivity for productivity's sake. Grant emphasizes that after reaching FY, you're not just trying to earn more, you're trying to optimize for a meaningful life. That takes reflection, intention, and design. He also notes that you don't have to implement everything at once. Start with a daily gratitude practice, add a weekly review, layer in financial check-ins. The compound effect of these small habits over time is massive. Final thoughts. The freedom you've worked so hard for deserves a framework that helps you make the most of it. Otherwise, time slips through your fingers, money builds up without purpose, and fulfillment becomes elusive. Grant leaves us with this challenge. How much of your life is by design and how much by default? The Future Optimization Framework gives you the tools to shift that balance, to make every day, week, and year a conscious step toward the life you truly want. Because financial freedom isn't the finish line. It's the beginning of a richer, more intentional life. Chapter 14. Living a Richer Life, A Path to Financial Independence. In the final chapter of Financial Freedom, Grant Sabatier brings everything full circle. This isn't just a chapter, it's a call to action, a manifesto for what it truly means to live a richer life. After all the spreadsheets, investment strategies, and saving hacks, he reminds us that financial independence is never just about money. It's about living deeply, freely, and fully. Grant begins by shattering the idea that early retirement is the end goal. It's not. Reaching financial independence simply gives you the space to ask a much bigger, more important question. What do I want to do with my life? He confesses something surprising. When he first hit his number and walked away from full-time work, he felt lost. No boss, no deadlines, no urgency. The world suddenly opened up, but he didn't know what to do with it. And that's when the real work began. Learning to design a meaningful, intentional life. This chapter is filled with soulful reflection. Grant wants you to understand that freedom isn't just about quitting your job. It's about reclaiming your time, energy, and identity. It's about choosing how to spend each day rather than having your time dictated by someone else's calendar. Reimagining what rich really means. Grant challenges readers to redefine wealth. In our society, being rich often means luxury cars, big homes, fancy vacations, but that version of wealth can be empty. True wealth, he says, is the ability to wake up when you want, work on things you care about, spend time with people you love, explore, learn, rest, and create. Live without fear or pressure. He calls this time wealth, and in his view, it's more valuable than any portfolio, because once you have control of your time, you have control of your life. Your life is the real return on investment. After years of chasing returns in the market, Grant came to a profound realization. Your life is your most valuable asset, your energy, your relationships, your curiosity, your freedom. If you don't use your wealth to build a fulfilling life, then what was the point? He urges readers not to wait until they hit their FI number to start living. Enjoy the journey. Take a sabbatical. Launch a creative project. Move to a cheaper city. Travel slowly. Volunteer. Redesign your days now, even if you're not done yet. In fact, he argues that the best lives are often built before financial independence. The process of saving, learning, and growing changes you. It makes you more resilient, focused, and intentional. You don't become someone different once you hit FI. You become that person on the way there. The courage to live differently. One of the biggest themes in this chapter is courage. Choosing a path to financial independence often means going against the grain. You'll be judged. You'll feel misunderstood. Friends might think you're being cheap, antisocial or unrealistic. But Grant reassures you it's worth it, because every dollar you save is a dollar of freedom. Every side hustle, every investment, every decision to spend less on what doesn't matter. It's all part of building a life that does matter. He shares stories of people who downsized, delayed gratification, or relocated to places where life was slower, cheaper, and richer in meaning. These weren't sacrifices. They were intentional trade-offs in service of a bigger vision: joy, curiosity, and the rich life list. To help readers start living more richly now, Grant introduces the idea of the Rich Life List, a personalized collection of experiences, goals, and daily rituals that light you up. He encourages readers to write down what brings you joy. What have you always wanted to try? What makes you feel alive, grounded, and creative? The list might include morning walks without an alarm clock, long dinners with friends, writing a book, taking 6 months to travel the world, volunteering every Friday, cooking from scratch, spending afternoons in nature. These aren't bucket list items. They're blueprints for a life worth living, one that doesn't depend on income, but on intention. Your purpose evolves. Grant acknowledges that purpose isn't fixed. What excites you at 30 might bore you at 45, and that's okay. Financial freedom gives you the flexibility to evolve, explore, and change direction without fear. He encourages readers to stay curious, to ask, what problem do I want to help solve? What art do I want to create? What community do I want to serve? What legacy do I want to leave? Purpose is something you cultivate by showing up, experimenting, and listening to what lights you up. And the beauty of financial independence is that it gives you the time and space to figure it out. Financial freedom is the foundation, not the finish line. This final message is crystal clear. Financial independence isn't the goal. It's the starting point. It's the moment when you finally stop surviving and start designing, not just your career, but your mornings, your relationships, your impact. Grant leaves you with a simple, powerful prompt. If you never had to worry about money again, what would you do with your life? That question isn't a fantasy. It's a design challenge. And every dollar you save, invest, or earn outside your job is a step toward answering it. Final takeaway: financial freedom is not about money. It's about choice. It's about being fully present in your life, not rushing, not reacting, not running on autopilot. It's about creating a life filled with intention, purpose, and freedom. So the journey doesn't end here. It begins here. You now have the tools. You know the path. The only thing left is to start living richly every single day on your terms. And there you have it. Financial Freedom by Grant Sabatier isn't just a guide to escaping the 9-to-5 grind. It's a complete roadmap to reclaiming your time, designing your future, and living life on your own terms. Whether you're buried in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, or already saving and investing, this book shows you how to accelerate your journey and start experiencing freedom now, not 30 years from now. Let's recap some of the most powerful lessons. Time is more valuable than money. Spend it wisely and protect it fiercely. Know your number, because clarity creates momentum. Stack your income through side hustles, high-value skills, and smart investing. Use leverage, like real estate and automation, to build wealth faster. Align your money with your values, so every dollar fuels a richer, more meaningful life. The real magic of this book isn't in theory, it's in execution. So ask yourself, what's one action you can take today? Maybe it's calculating your savings rate, starting that side hustle, or finally opening that investment account. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start now. If this episode helped spark something in you, share it with someone else who's ready to break free. Like, comment, or tag me and let me know. What does financial freedom mean to you? And remember, being truly rich isn't just about how much money you have. It's about waking up every day with the freedom to choose how you spend your time. That's the real wealth. That's financial freedom. See you in the next episode. And until then, keep building a life that's truly yours.